When did this drop? It's today, but when today? I didn't see this. I never even heard of this. How long is it? Holy shit, it's long. Holy shit, wait. I didn't realize, dude, hello? Marvel Rivals version 2024, or it's just the date. This comes out on August 8th. And this is apparently an update around some matchmaking changes and some grouping restriction changes. Mute alerts too. It says, greetings Rivals. All Black, the Necro Sword, has returned to Null's grasp after millennia, unshearing in an era where light may be snuffed out for good. The Phoenix Egg has shattered, its fragments igniting a wildfire upon the planet Clintar. Blade, now empowered by both Phoenix Fire and the living Abyss, leads the heroes to destroy Null's throne. But will it be enough to halt the march of the King in Black? Join the battle and witness the eternal clash of light and darkness. I feel like this would be really cool, like if they did like little mini cinematics for it. I know they kind of do in the trailers, but like, I mean like actual ones, you know what I mean? Because I feel like I don't even know the story from season to season, like other than like, oh, this is the vampire season. Oh, this is the Necro Sword season, which was like the big meme because it's Necros' sword. And then whatever the season 0 was, I forget. Okay, all new content, all platforms, new hero Blade, new stories for Blade lore, Iron Man lore, and new Rocket Raccoon lore. Maybe I should go through and read all of these one time, like on stream, and like make a video of it, so that way people don't have to read it. I'll like read it to them. Limited time event, Queen's Codex. The Queen is coming. Battle to earn XP and level up to earn rewards, including the Thing, Symbiote Thing costume, absolutely free. Wait, the Thing costume is free? I didn't know if it was like that because I had purchased the pass yesterday when I was in the client or what, but that is so cool. That's such a cool skin to get for free. Unlock the premium codex to claim even more rewards, such as Hela, Queen in Black costume, an all new dynamic spray, and more. Plus, once you unlock premium, you gain permanent access to the event until all rewards are claimed, no time limit. New systems, custom muted words. Players can now set up to their own defense against words they'd rather not see in chat. If a message contains a muted word, it will be filtered out. Thank God we can finally filter the word job. Number 2, factions tab in chat. Added a new faction tab in the chat system. Emoji can now be displayed in more scenarios, including when KO'd and other battle sentiment. I don't know what that ends up totally looking like, but that'd be funny if you die and you can just spam emotes, I guess. All right, new in store, Blade Polarity Edge Bundle, Blade Emoji Bundle, Blade Dynamic Mood Bundle, which will be on August 8th. Twitch drops. As Season 3.5 kicks off, get ready for a new round of Twitch drops. Simply accumulate the viewing reward time to claim your rewards. This round's drops include the Mantis Will of Galactica costume along with the related bundle content. Mantis skin along with big Mantis buffs or changes. Love to see it. If you need a place to watch to get your drops, twitch.tv/flats. Actually, follow up on this one. I don't know if it's true, but I'm assuming it is. This has been running from August 8th to September 5th. The actual esports finals are happening from August 6th to 10th, I believe. There hasn't been an announcement for drops yet, I don't think, but I'm assuming there's going to be drops. And if there's drops, I will hopefully have them. And so you could watch and get both your Mantis drop and whatever the drop is for that. They have a Star-Lord skin. Did it already get announced? Where did you guys see that it was already announced? I didn't know it was announced. It was on Twitter. Can you link me it? I'm going to keep reading while you link me it. Tournaments. We're introducing latency equalization technology to the Season 3 Marvel Rivals Championship. When a server or geographic location causes significant ping differences between factions, the system will auto-balance latency for fairer matches. Newly added the balance latency option to the custom game tournament rooms. Hosts can now enable the option and set thresholds. Ooh, okay, that's cool. Rank adjustments. New rank settlement rewards. Reach gold for the cool Blade, Emerald Blade costume. Earn all new nameplate frames at Diamond and Platinum. Oh, new rewards for Diamond and Plat. Plus rock fresh crests of honor for Grandmaster, Celestial, Eternity, and the illustrious Top 500. No shit. Okay, cool. All right, now this is where things get off the rails, apparently. Team matchmaking adjustment. Players in bronze, silver, and gold can queue for competitive in any team size except for 5-player teams. Players in platinum, diamond, and grandmaster can queue for competitive in teams of up to 3 players. Players in celestial, eternity, and one above all can queue for competitive in team-ups of 2 players. Okay, so there is a good and a bad that can come from this. I will explain it because we actually had this exact system in Overwatch for a very long time. And over time, people loved it at first, then grew to hate it, then they removed it, and now people want it back. We're gonna get there. I'll tell you the history, I'll tell you the lore, but let me get through this first. Surrender and disconnect rule adjustments. Surrender trigger. In the first round, if a player disconnects and does not reconnect within 90 seconds, their team may vote to surrender. The required votes passes with 1 less than the current team members, e.g., if 4 remain, 3 votes are needed. Okay. Did anyone actually end up linking that tweet? Oh, so this is the Ignite mid-season drops. What is the quality on this image? So watch for 1 hour, you get a spray. 1.5 hours, get a nameplate. 1 hour. Oh, this is from the 6th to the 2nd. So the first 2 days, if you watch, you get a spray and a nameplate. Then on the 9th, you get another spray and a nameplate, but this one's a different spray and nameplate, but you can still get both of them. And then if you watch the finals, which is on the 10th, you get a celebration emote, which looks like for Star-Lord, and an Ignite Star-Lord costume. So if you are watching the finals for the event, it's from August 10th to September 6th. So even if you miss the event on August 10th, you can still get it for the rest of the month. So that is actually pretty cool. But yeah, there you go. So you could theoretically, if you wanted to min-max your drops, you could just turn on a stream on August 10th and you would be able to get the Star-Lord drops and the Mantis drops all at the same time. Cool. All right, let's continue really quick. Oh God. Okay, hang on. Before I get into this, let's talk about this really quick. The team matchmaking adjustments before we get into disconnect penalty. So the reason why it was good was a few reasons. One, a lot of players would abuse the system and basically VPN or change their region to Australia, and then they would 6-stack at 4 a.m. on Australia servers, and they'd get like an hour or 2 long queue, but then they would play against a really terrible team. Like they'd play a bunch of diamonds, and they're like a little 6-stack of top 500 players, and they would just abuse that system all the way up to rank 1, right? So people were able to kind of cheese out really high ranks by stacking together at weird hours. Number 2 is in a lot of matches, it can feel unfair if you bump into a really insane stack of players because 1, they're good, and 2, there's coordinated. And that typically doesn't become a problem until you get really high rank because the system can compensate for that, where like, let's say you have a stack of diamond players, you have a bunch of really good, like you have a 6-stack of diamond players playing together. The game will then put them against like 6 solo queue GM players, right? And so the ideology is that the GM players, or 3 duo queues of GM players, right? The GM players are better players individually than the diamond players, so they give them a harder match ranked wise than like diamond players aren't playing against diamonds, they're playing against people that are better because their coordination is supposed to make up for it. Once you get to the top level though, if you have a 6-stack of really coordinated, extremely good players playing, they are always going to beat the 6 individual players because they're not going to be communicating, and the differences between their mechanical skill and team play is typically very small. What this can end up doing though is it causes people to not play with their friends anymore. It genuinely makes it so you cannot play with friends. And that kind of encourages not only just solo queue, but it kind of encourages you to not play like as a group. Because like, for example, let's say you climb with your friends from Plat through Grandmaster, right? Or hell, you climb from Gold to Diamond or Plat as a team, like you're playing with your friends at night. Well, once you hit Plat, you can't play with everybody. You can only play with 3. So, let's say the rank reset happens for a new season, you and your buddies all hop on, and you go from Silver back to Plat, and then you get to Plat, and you got to drop 2 people out of the friend group. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's just stupid. You know what I mean? At the highest level, I can understand why you put restrictions, because like bumping into a 6-stack of top 500 players is really, really, really frustrating. But for the rest of the ranks, I don't know if there should be any types of restrictions. I feel like it just makes it so people are punished for having friends, and it encourages you to be a loner. It encourages you to not be a social gamer. It caters the system towards the solo queue gamer. And you can argue that's a good thing. You could argue it's a bad thing. I think both have valid arguments. It is, in fact, a team-based game. However, though, most gamers don't interact well with others in team environments. You're never going to make everyone happy. And Overwatch had it for a long time. And when Overwatch removed it, it made it so people could stack again. And a lot of content creators started playing with each other again. You'd have groups, and it was a really fun time. And I had a great time. I loved it that they got rid of that system. And then over time, the individual average solo queue player, you know, ranked sweat who, you know, their only interaction with the game is just playing tons of ranked, and then maybe they have like a Twitter account where they beef with other really shitty ladder players, are the people that are going to be the most mad. Those are the people that get really upset, and they're like, I hate bumping into a 6-stack, or not even a 6-stack, like a 3-stack or 4-stack of good players or streamers, especially. And they're like, well, the game just gives me an auto loss. And it's like, well, sometimes having you on my team is an auto loss because your attitude's so ass to deal with. But regardless, though, they do have a slight point that it is harder to fight uphill against that. But people also just give up instantly if they go up against a stack. So there's a mental aspect as well, where if a team queues in and they know they're playing against a group of players, they just give up because they know it's going to be harder, you know? So I guess the idea behind it is just get rid of it so you don't have to deal with that. And especially at that high rank, that's where it really kicks in. But I don't think this should apply for up till GM. I think it should be Celestial and above, and that's it. Because other than that, like, for a game that's supposed to be quote-unquote more casual friendly, encouraging you to not play with friends, I think is dumb. All right, let's move on. This is where things get really off the rails again. Disconnect penalty and compensation adjustments. Invalid matches. If any player disconnects during the loading screen, during loading, ban/pick phase, hero select, or within the first 70 seconds of a match, the match is deemed invalid. The disconnected player receives a T1 penalty. See below for details. That scales with repeated offenses, and penalty count increases. For other players, the match ends with no result or penalty. Valid matches. If a player disconnects after 70 seconds, the following applies. 1. Disconnected player does not reconnect before the match ends. If the match ends within 90 seconds of their disconnect, normal settlement based on match result and stats, no penalty. So, okay, so if somebody disconnects after 70 seconds and they don't reconnect, wait, disconnected player does not reconnect before the match ends. But then if the match ends within 90 seconds, so this one makes sense, right? If they disconnect in the last minute 30 of the game, it's still a valid match. But I don't understand this part. I'm gonna keep reading and see if I can figure it out with context clues. If the match ends 90 seconds or C 150 seconds after their disconnect. Okay, so I'm not sure what this part reads. Yeah, I know of this part if you DC at the end or you leave at the end, right? Like, it won't do anything. Okay, so if it's beyond a minute 30, right, or 90 seconds, disconnected player receives a tier 1 penalty and a competitive matchmaking ban. Both scale with repeat offenses, and penalty count increases, win or lose. If the disconnected team loses, remaining teammates receive ranked point compensation. Okay. If the match ends 150 seconds plus after this disconnect, disconnected player receives a T2 point penalty, competitive matchmaking ban, both scale with repeat offenses, and penalty count increases, win or lose. If the disconnected team loses, remaining teammates receive rank point compensation. That's really weird. If you disconnect in the match at the end of a game, and the game ends within 90 seconds of you disconnecting, it's a valid game, right? Wait, if a player disconnects after 70 seconds, the following applies. This is only if it's 90 seconds to 150 seconds. So as long as it's not like an extra like 2 minutes, it's a tier 1, right? And then if it's beyond 2 minutes, it's a tier 2. Okay. Disconnect. Sorry. Number 2. Wait, this is all under number 1. Okay. Number 2. Disconnected player reconnects before the match ends. If their team wins, normal settlement, no penalty. If their team loses, penalty is based on disconnect to reconnect time as above, but no competitive matchmaking ban. Teammates receive compensation on loss only if the disconnect lasted more than 90 seconds. Whoa. So if you disconnect out of a game and it ends within 90 seconds, no penalty or no compensation. If you disconnect and come back, if you disconnect and the game ends within 90 seconds to 150 seconds, or you reconnect during that time, you still get points penalty points penalty if you lose, but you won't get that if you win. The table explains it better? Okay, I'll keep going then. Compensation table. Disconnect timing. Okay. So if it's during the load-in or the first 70 seconds, it's just invalid. Tier 1 penalty, repeat scaling, penalty count increases, match ends, no result. Over 70 seconds, the match is valid. Reconnection, no. So if it's under 90 seconds, normal settlement, no penalty. Okay, so if you disconnect mid-game and come back within 90 seconds, no penalty. You'll be fine. Or if the game ends, I assume. If it's 90 to 150 seconds, so if you're gone for 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes, or 2.5 minutes, then you'll get a tier 1 penalty regardless of win or loss, and then your teammates will get compensation if lost. The tabletop says if they don't reconnect. Yeah, no, I know that. Oh, the bottom is if they reconnect. Okay, sorry. You're right. Tier 2 penalty, increased ban, penalize. Okay, all right, understandable. All right, so if they do reconnect, settlement, no penalty. If they come back within 1.5 minutes to 2.5 minutes, penalty count increases if they lose. Tier 2 penalty kicks in if they lose. Compensation if lost, compensation if lost. So wait, so basically, if you DC out of a game, right? If you DC out of a game and you come back after 90 seconds, as long as you win, nothing happens to you. But if you lose, you get penalized and your teammates get compensation. Whoa. Uh-oh. I feel like that's going to cause an issue where, no, listen. I feel like this causes an issue with people that could potentially be boosting, because the way you could do this is on maps where you play multiple rounds. You have someone disconnect towards the end, right? Especially if it's not looking too good. And then you have them sit out for 90 seconds. You set a timer in between rounds when you the round is ending, right? Like let's say you're going to start fighting for overtime, right? And then have someone DC, have your duo DC. And then they start the timer for 90 seconds and they sit there. And so it changes sides. It gives times for everyone to pick heroes, the 20, 30 seconds of picking heroes, and then the 30 seconds in the spawn room, right? And so that way, after they join back after 90 seconds, right, they will maybe only lose maybe 30 seconds off the clock in the attack or the defense. And then they can reconnect and fight to win. And if they lose, then the account's not going to lose much. The boosted account won't lose many points. And if they win, then they're going to keep climbing anyways, and there's no harm, no foul. So that's a big uh-oh. And especially if they can figure out, like, if a tier 2 penalty is even better compensation, that incentivizes them even further, actually. Yeah, but who's realistically doing this? I'm going to be honest with you. Realistically, do you know how much boosting services make? Like, there's people that do boosting services that make thousands of dollars a month. There's people that make, depending on the game and depending on how popular it is, tens of thousands a month, potentially. Like, there's people who make it their whole career to boost people. It is a very dark underbelly of gaming. Wouldn't this get your account nuked? Who cares? It's not your account. You're boosting someone else. You're boosting a different account. You'd have to have a whole other thing put into that. And also, I mean, the only way around that is like hardware banning. And it's like, hardware banning is typically pretty rare. So, and the game's free to play. You know what I mean? Boosting in retail WoW on a new character is like $100 an hour. You could probably farm it. So, yeah. That's the first thing I think of. All right, points compensation. Bronze, 12 points. Okay. Celestial, Eternity, and One Above All is all the same. Holy shit. Okay, so it's 12 points to gold, 8 points to GM, and then 4 points for the top ranks. Compensations vary by rank. If the final score after compensation is above -1, it will be capped at -1, for example. If a gold player was supposed to lose 10 points, but receives a disconnect compensation of plus 12, then the result would be +2, since this is above the -1, and the final deduction will be set to -1. So they only lose a single point. Okay, so you can't rank up from having DCs, but you could lose as little as a single point in like bronze through gold. No way that stays the same for plat and above. It's just not going to be mathematically possible, but that is wild. Holy shit. Bronze to gold gets the chrono shields and a loss protection where you're potentially only losing a single point. I feel like that's insanely valuable to the average casual gamer who gets really upset that they have levers in their game, even though realistically, the levers isn't what's genuinely holding them back. So theoretically, they shouldn't climb even with being compensated for losses. So it's actually not a bad system in that rank. And because like, yeah, like they're not going to lose that many points. But you could still do the same thing with like your friends. Like if you just have like a friend, like someone in your friend group who doesn't play the game very much, you can be like, yo, can you leave the game? Like, yo, leave the game. We'll get less points, you know, which is a whole other thing. Like people are going to start bullying their friends if they play with them to leave the game more. Hey, I guess that won't be a problem because once they get to a certain rank, they can't play with them anymore anyways. Holy shit, this is crazy. All right, I'm in. AFK penalty adjustments. Invalid matches. If a player is detected AFK within the first 70 seconds, the match is invalid. Inactive player, tier 2 penalty, scaling with repeat offenses, penalty count increases. Other players, match ends immediately with no results or deductions, okay? Valid matches, if a player is detected AFK after the first 70 seconds. If their team wins, normal settlement, no penalty. If their team loses, inactive player receives a tier 2 penalty and competitive matchmaking ban, scaling with repeat offenses, and penalty count increases. Teammates do not receive compensation. Combined AFK and disconnect penalty. If a player is both inactive and disconnects, the highest penalty applies. If a team faced with both inactive and disconnected players, if a team is faced with both inactive and disconnected players and that team loses, compensation is granted to fully engaged teammates. Okay. Penalty and ban for scaling for competitive. Repeat offenses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Competitive ban for the first one is a tier 1 penalty, which is 25 points, and a tier 2 penalty is 30 points. 2 offenses, an hour-long ban, and then it's 30, 35. 3 offenses, a 3-hour ban. 4 offenses, an 8-hour ban. 5 or more is a 20-hour ban, and then a 40-point penalty and a 45-point tier 2. But what do these mean though? Like, where's the numbers for that? I'm sure it'll be further down. Specific penalty rules described above will be enforced accordingly. Quick match penalties. In quick match mode, we've also strengthened the penalty duration for players who disconnect and leave the game. 1 is a warning, 2 is a 15-minute ban, 3 is a 30-minute ban, 4 is an hour-long ban, 5 or more is an 8-hour ban. Oh no, they're doing the Overwatch thing. Oh my god, they're doing severe penalties for leaving quick play games. Oh no. That's just take a day off? Yeah, but like, it's quick play. You're supposed to be able to drop in and out. Dude, if you get into a quick play game and like, you just don't want to stay in it because either like all your teammates are like, you're playing 5 DPS and you're whatever, like I guess that just encourages you to stay. But when they implemented this in Overwatch, people got so upset with it, but actually it had another effect where now everyone treats quick play like ranked. Like if you try to play quick play in Overwatch, you are basically competing in the Overwatch League. I know that thing's dead now, but like, you know what I mean? Though people take that so serious now that it's basically the exact same game mode, and people hate that system. Holy shit. We will continue to monitor disconnects and early exits in both ranked and quick match modes and adjust these rules as necessary. If we believe you were wrongly penalized, please contact customer support for a prompt review. Fixes and optimizations, all platforms, rank rewards, nameplate frames are now displayed in more areas, lobby, career, friends, faction, leaderboard, gifts, invites, custom games, etc. Hero display in team lobby now supports camera scroll. Clicking on the nameplate while in a team lobby can now quickly switch styles. Improved Venom's Tickle Me Pink emote animation for his default costume. The special tab in the store now lets you browse all available moods, emoji, and unique emotes. Graphics and performance, the PC one's a big one. PC shader compilation or compilation rework. The mandatory shader compilation wait on first launch has been removed. Instead, essential global shaders will be preloaded in the background after installation/update. Shader preload speed depends on your GPU before entering a match. Before preloading completes may cause, entering match before preloading completes may cause performance issues, including stuttering, network lag, rendering errors, or crashes. Basically, it will do the graphics update. It'll do the shaders thing as you sit in the lobby, like in the main menu before you start playing. So basically, you just want to sit in the main menu and wait for it to finish before you queue a game. Performance test tools provide graphics settings optimization recommended based on your test results. In-game UI animation details will now automatically adjust based on your effect detail settings to improve overall performance. Maps and modes, fixed several terrain issues. Okay, sure. Jumping the gun, polish a minor bug where Emma Frost Iron Fist. Okay, I'm not gonna go through all these bug ones. You can just read them if you want. Console fixed an issue where changing global keybinds could incorrectly affect some hero ability keys. This is crazy, actually. I mean, to be fair, one of the biggest things people have been shouting for on every social media is matchmaking changes, and this is what they wanted in a way, but it's not. A lot of people want the quote-unquote engagement-based optimized matchmaker or whatever gone. I don't think that's ever going to happen. It actually reminds me very much of old Overwatch with everyone saying the 50-50, right? There was it was discovered that Overwatch had such a good matchmaker that it was going to give you a 50-50 game every single time. And so basically people interpreted that as they will force 50-50 win rate, where if you win a game, they will force you to lose the next one so you don't climb. That never technically went away. And I don't think that engagement-based matchmaking, quote unquote, will never go away either. But this is their attempt to fix people leaving games and punishing people for doing that kind of stuff. I think this could have some really unintended consequences, but then again, I just want to see how it goes. So why not? Let's see how it goes, but there you go. That's some pretty big changes coming with 3.5. Check the last bug fix. Okay, really quick. Panther and Wolverine sneaky sounds. Enhances the audio cues for enemy Black Panther and Wolverine when they're sneaking up for a surprise attack. Now these clawed kings are on the prowl. You might hear them coming. Predator awareness up. Wait, that's not a bug fix. Wait, what? Wait, I thought these were bug fixes. Wait, these aren't bug fixes. Hold on, I'm going to read it again. Iron Fist Silent Sanctuary resolved an issue where Lenlay's Harmony Recovery would sometimes end without playing its ending sound effect. Oh, that is a bug. Venom and Spider-Man slinging in style. Spidey and Symbiote can now use separate keybinds for simple and manual swinging. Choose your web slinging style on the fly. Oh yeah, this is apparently Omega busted. Andrew was saying that you can actually do a one-shot combo on squishies now on Venom, because you don't have to look up and swing anymore. You can have an easy swing button, and so you just tap it and you immediately can slam, and so you can do a full left click headshot combo, swing, slam, left click, and on the right click melee, and you'll just explode somebody. They'll instantly die. They're making the footsteps for Black Panther and Wolverine louder. That's a pretty big change right there. That's actually a big nerf on its own. Holy shit. I can't believe they actually did it. That's crazy. But there you go. There's a bunch of huge changes that are coming with Season 3.5.